Hey everybody, it's Tiffany from Quilter's Workshop, and today I'm going to be doing an Easter project idea and inspiration video similar to the one that I put up for Valentine's Day. I just feel like these are a good idea just to get your brain flowing, all that good stuff. I know Easter is in a couple days, and I totally did this on Valentine's Day too. I put up my video like a couple of days before Valentine's Day. I'm so sorry. For those of you who don't know, because I understand that you might just be clicking on this for the very first time, you've never seen my face before. I used to be pretty good at posting videos once in a while, and they were usually tutorials, very like step-by-step videos. And lately I've kind of switched over just to doing inspirational videos, and I don't really know what else to call them, sorry. They're not step-by-step tutorials, but they're really helpful for people who have a lot of sewing and quilting knowledge. And maybe you can just look at something and you kind of get an idea of how to go off of that, how to make it your own just from looking at somebody else's. If you're in a store and you see something, you can kind of go, oh, I can make that, and you go home and do it. So I'm trying to provide that for you, so you can look at what I've done over the years. A lot of these projects are older ones. I haven't been doing a lot of my own personal sewing lately. I also haven't been doing a great job at getting ready for my next craft show, and that's simply because, if you don't know, this is not my job. YouTube is not my job, my business itself. So there's a lot of different aspects to that as well, predominantly local craft shows and fairs where I sell smaller scaled items. Is also not my full-time job. So I do have a normal full-time job, 9 to 5, and a secondary job that I'm doing on top of that right now. So this is really like my third and fourth job, if you will. So, and then in addition to that, of course, there's life. And in case you missed some of my videos from earlier in the summer, my boyfriend and I, we own our home now, which is super exciting. So there's always a lot of things that I want to do around the house and a lot of cleaning. And then of course I have my doggie, and she takes up a lot of my time. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started and show you my favorite Easter things. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you is my favorite. It's this table runner here. Sorry, there's a couple of little circles on there that need to be ironed out. It's just from candles and things like that. I decorated for Easter very early. Basically, I had my Valentine's Day decor up until the very end of February. It's such a short month, so I keep it up for the whole month. And then I put out my Easter stuff probably like the first or second week of March. And this year, Easter is very late. So Easter isn't until the weekend of April 19th or so. So it's been out for quite a while. But anyway, so this is my favorite one. I made this, I'm going to say at least 10 years ago. So the bunnies are machine appliqued, and the little fence was done using strip piecing, and then the little flowers are also machine appliqued, and then there's little buttons that act as the center. And I kind of like how this runner has sort of nothing in between the ends, so that, well, also so if people are sitting around the table, they see the same on both sides, but also so that you can put a centerpiece there, whether it's a candle or maybe your salt and pepper shakers, anything like that. And yeah, I just really love this one. I just did, so the quilting is just all around the applique items, so it's just stitched in the ditch all around. And yeah, what else can I say about this? It's from a book. If I can find the book online, I'll link it in the description. But it's something that you could totally do without the pattern for it. This is just divided in half with the background and the ground or the grass, whatever you want them to be sitting on. You can cut out some bunnies from templates that you might find online. You can use children's coloring books. That's always something that's really good for larger pieces of applique, because usually the pictures are nice and big, right, to make the coloring easy. So yeah, so that's my favorite one. And if you're wondering about my table, I have a video on how I did the farmhouse table makeover, and I'll throw that in the description box too. This is the second table runner that I have to show you, and this is made using blocks from Electric Quilt. They were supposed to be 6-inch paper piecing patterns, but I increased the size from 6-inch to 12-inch, and then instead of it being paper pieced, converted it just to regular piecing. And I made this also probably at least 10 years ago. So I've had it for quite a while, but it's just 2 little bunny blocks and then a block of Easter eggs in the center. And honestly, if you found any sort of blocks that you thought were Eastery, or even the bunny one that I showed before this, you could skip the little fence that was in the other runner and just do some straight applique, make a little applique basket with little eggs in there. So you could do it without doing actual piecing if you wanted to stick with the applique. But again, the quilting was just super simple on this. I just did some stitching in the ditch around some of the pieces, and then the little whiskers on the bunnies, sorry that it's kind of wrinkly, but the little whiskers are hand embroidered, and they don't have any eyes because that's the way I left it, and I kind of just think it looks sort of like farmhouse. It's kind of like the way that I make my elephants, and they don't have eyes on them either. But anyway, just the look I was going for, I suppose. So I have this one on my coffee table. Speaking of the paper piecing blocks, the 6-inch ones, that is what I have used to make this little wall hanging. So I'll show you my little holder. Little wall hanging holder up there, very cute. So in this one, I used the same bunny block, and instead of doing the whiskers on this guy, I did little button eyes. Don't know if my phone's focusing. I wanted to use my actual camera for this, but then the battery was dead, and I don't know where the charger is, and story of my life. So there's the basket block, and then these are 2 other blocks that I didn't end up choosing to use in the table runner, so I used them to make the wall hanging instead. But how sweet is this? So I just did, so these are the paper piece version, 6-inch blocks. There's sashing in between the blocks here. I probably cut that about 2 inches, so it's probably 1.5 finished. Same with this little outer inner border, and then I cut an outer border slightly larger than that, and then the quilting is the same. I just outlined around the outside of the blocks there and put a sleeve on the back, and that's it, and it just looks so sweet. So I think that's a good little idea for different ways to use those blocks, and also to not be, I guess, don't give up if you see a block that isn't the right size, or it's paper piecing but you don't want to do paper piecing. There's always ways to transform what you want, or what you're seeing, to make it what you want. And then I made 2 different pillows. So this is the first one. The fabric that I've used for the background here has this faux wood grain, sort of looks like palette, which is very on trend right now, all of the wooden signs. And then I literally just used the silhouette of a bunny from like a coloring page, and I cut that for my applique there. And then for the little ribbon around the neck, I sewed, if you can see here, I stitched this piece just straight across its neck, and I cut the ends to meet the shape of the chest and the back. And then this little bow is something that it's a separate piece of ribbon that I tied into a bow and then attached afterwards. So this bottom piece goes all the way across underneath. And then I just used a little pom-pom and I hot glued it on there, and I think that's really sweet. But you don't have to do a tail, and you don't have to do the little bow. You could just leave it as is. You could embroider some words on it if you'd like, but I just think that this is really sweet. And on the back side, I use this sort of vintagey floral print. Sorry, it's not really focusing. But I just love it. I love the blue and the white with the little wood grain. It kind of goes with my whole farmhouse theme that I'm trying to have going on with my kitchen table, my hutch, and stuff like that. So, and even my kitchen cupboards are blue, so the blue and the white just sort of matches everything. On this one wall in my dining room, I have a spot that my boyfriend put a quilt rack up there on the top. Sorry, the lamp's in the way. But I change this out quite regularly, so I just wanted to share this quilt with you because I just thought it has Easter colors. It has a lot of the blues and the purples and the whites in it. So I just decided to hang up this one for a couple of months, and then I'll change it to something else. So this is just a pinwheel with the 9 patch, and then it has a piano key border, and I really like this quilt a lot. Also, on the back side of it, it just has a solid purple, but hopefully you can see it on my phone, but the thread that is used on the quilting is actually variegated thread. Oh gosh, sorry. Here, let's see if we can see it. There you go. Do you see how it's blue and yellow and purple and it changes? So it's kind of nice to have a solid back and to have something sort of decorative that it could stand out, because if I had a printed fabric on the back, you wouldn't be able to see the variegated thread nearly as well. And all of those colors in the thread are all of the types of colors that are in my quilt as well. So that's kind of interesting. This is only half of it. This quilt doesn't have a sleeve on the back, so I have it folded in half. So that's why it looks small up there. And then also, just while we're in my dining room, I just wanted to give a shout out to my boyfriend, because he bought me these beautiful Easter dishes for my birthday. My birthday wasn't too long ago, and I had noticed them in HomeSense and I fell in love with them. And then he went back a couple of days later and bought them, and then several weeks later, when it was my birthday, he gave them to me then, and I was crying when he gave them to me because they're just so beautiful. And when I was little, I used to have a bunny. So Easter, I guess, is, well, fall is my favorite, but I do really love the spring colors too, and I just really love how timeless these are. I love how the edges are scalloped. I don't know if you can see that there. And same with the mug, it has scalloped edges, and it's just so beautiful. Like, these mugs are stunning. And I like how the plates, they have different poses for the bunny as well. And then he also bought me the little square plates here as well. And these also come in the 2 different poses there. And he picked up this table runner for me as well, which is so cute. I asked him if those bunnies were us. I actually don't own a table runner that isn't made by me, so it's kind of funny, but kind of nice. So yeah, so I've had my table decorated, even though it wasn't Easter for so long, but I just love having them out and I love looking at them, and I just like seeing the dining room look all like just so, you know, just having everything out and looking pretty and stuff. So I just wanted to share those because they're just so beautiful. And then the last pillow that I have to share is this one, which has little silhouettes of 3 bunnies, and they're sort of supposed to be like the Peeps, like marshmallows or whatever. And then they each have a little pom-pom for their tails, and these are also just machine appliqued. I did use Steam-A-Seam when I cut them out to help just iron them on and keep them in place. And then on the back side of this one, I have this really gorgeous pale pink floral, which I think is so pretty. Like, you could definitely just flip them over to the side as well if you ever felt like it. But I love this one as well. The fabric for the background is actually quite unique and just really delicate because it has the gingham and then sort of has this little bit of like almost an embroidery in between as the stripes, and I just think that's so Eastery. I love this one a lot. So that's everything that I have to share, except I also have some Easter egg shaped placemats, but I have a step-by-step tutorial for those, so I'm just going to link the video for that down below and you can take a look at them there. There's a picture of them in the thumbnail of the video, but I just kind of thought it would be a little redundant to show them and talk about it when I have the full video already anyway. So I'll put that down below, and that's pretty much it. So I shared some table runners, some pillows, a little wall hanging, and then of course my dishes. Anyway, so I hope that you get some ideas from this. Maybe you have a chance to try them out for this year, if not for next year. If you have any questions, you can send me an email at quilters.workshop@gmail.com. All of my social media links are listed down below, so if you'd like to follow me there, or if you'd like to message me through that, if that's easier for you, you're always more than welcome to. And if you try anything from my video, I would love to see a picture of what you've made, so definitely feel free to tag me in it, or you can email me a picture. That would just make my day. And yeah, so the next video that I'd like to have out for you guys is a tutorial on hair scrunchies, particularly the ones with a little tie knot in it, because I feel like they're so incredibly popular right now, and a lot of the stores are selling them for way, 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 way too much money, and they're super, super easy to do. So I feel like even if you don't have any sewing knowledge at all, or if you want to teach your kids to do something, I think that would be super fun. So I'm going to share that as soon as I can. Hopefully once May rolls around, I'll be a lot less busy with one of my other jobs. So yeah, so I hope you have the best Easter, and I will see you guys really soon.